Mhm.
Okay, hello, hello. So I have a beautiful, incredible, amazing woman here today, Amber Joy Rava. This is the name that I should call you? Yes, Amber Joy Rava. Beautiful name as well. I first saw Amber at an event in Turkey, actually, at Kaplankaya. I was working there as a visiting practitioner, and she did a big ceremony during, I believe it was a harvest festival. At the end of it or the beginning, some point of the harvest festival, you did a big ceremony, fire dancing ceremony.
Fire. Okay, maybe that was a different moment. There's been a few ceremonies for those beautiful souls.
Yes, yes. Well, it was part ceremony, part um I think connection to the final evening, and then there was music and dancing and everything, but you came in with a number of women and did an event that felt very ceremonial and
Was
beautiful.
it,
And
let me get a question. Was it where the women also held candles?
I
Or
think
were
they were
were
holding,
they, huh?
I I can't remember if they were holding candles or not. I mean, honestly, I think I was quite fixed on you the whole time. They were there. They were obviously an important element, and I remember the women. The energy was it
Yeah.
just made it much more magical having other women there with you and more feminine and more powerful. But you
Yes.
were the center, you were the power. So I thought, wow, wow. And I know you've given workshops there and you are doing projects all over the world, it looks like, ceremonies and projects and workshops. And so I love, and this is the first time that we're meeting formally.
Yeah, but I
Uh,
felt that I knew you somehow. I felt that we did meet, no?
um, maybe we met briefly. Maybe we met
Hmm.
briefly, but I think our paths were kind of crossing. You were doing your thing and you were busy and there were events and you were working on that and I was doing my thing. And so there might have been a crossing, but it wasn't like a deeper kind of
Right.
connection or anything. But
Well,
I
good to
started
connect.
following you. Yes. Good to connect. Yes, yes, good to connect. And then of course I realized you're from Brazil, and that even interested
No,
me
I live
more.
I live in Brazil.
You live in Brazil. See, I don't even know that then.
Not
Okay.
from Brazil. I'm not from Brazil. I'm from
Okay,
Brooklyn,
where are you from?
New York. Sorry, my dogs are chasing our neighbor's cats.
I
They
can't hear anything.
oh good. So I'm born in Brooklyn, New York,
Okay.
and yeah, and I lived in India for many years. I've lived working and living abroad and basing in Brazil in Alto Paraíso
Mm.
for since maybe almost 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you look Brazilian, of course.
I mean, really, honestly, wherever I go, people tell me I look like I'm from there. So
Okay.
now I finally, yeah, now if I'm in Turkey, Spain, here, there. But Brazil really took me from India uh, in a strong way. And yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. I understand. I understand. I'm from Canada,
Mhm.
and I've been in Brazil for about 4.5 years. And it chose me. It chose me. I didn't have a choice when I decided to go on a trip, just to get away. It was just Brazil. Come to
Oh.
Brazil. I'm like, okay, okay, okay. So now I'm still here and love it.
Hmm.
Absolutely love it. And maybe that is part of, I don't know, it absolutely is a part for me. And this is why also I'm so I feel so drawn to you is this the whole embodiment that Brazil has that's very different than, well, for Canada, for sure. Vancouver is a very conservative city.
Hmm.
Um, and people are definitely not fully embodying themselves, very intellectual, I would say. It's very experimental, but the embodiment level that exists here is just completely, completely different. So this is one thing that Amber is a specialist in is embodiment. And I'm wondering, maybe just to get some background, maybe give us a little bit of background and how you got to this embodiment. And the reason I wanted to bring her on my channel, because I'm very focused on uh, couples in long-term relationships, focused right now specifically with couples in long-term relationships who are struggling, bringing back the sensuality, the sexuality, struggling with even talking about it, struggling with embodying their sexuality in a new phase. You know, their children are a little bit older, and now what do we do? Struggling with discussing it with each other, afraid, fears, and all of that types of things. So, hello, puppy dog. He's so cute.
It's so beautiful. I love to hear more about your focus because there's so much shame around being authentic. And when we connect our authenticity with our sexuality, wow. I mean, that's why, as an alchemist myself, it's all about the masculine and feminine within
Mm,
and making these opposites make love. And so once we can do that for ourselves, which brings me to my early story, is really feeling into some of my early stories, feeling into my masculine and my feminine, like having it all inside and being able to have those that communication to come through, that can I can become the fruit of that union, me
mm,
myself. So if you speak about also partners as a doula, working with many single women, but also
mhm.
many couples that to express fully with yourself first. Then you have the opportunity to share this honesty with another. So it has to happen inside of you first. I mean,
Yeah,
full stop. Then you can live an embodied life. And that means trusting your own body. And I know it sounds like concepts, but for people that want to really express themselves, it can be expressing yourself artistically, sensually, intellectually, um, caretaking, and the sexuality. There's just been such a cloud of shame put on us. And I feel like I was able to escape that very early.
mm, hmm,
And that really helped me uh, in my embodiment, my own myth, my own life,
hmm,
and to help others because it's easy sometimes when you just say, okay, this is this is my sexuality from the beginning of my life.
hmm,
How do I turn the page and say, okay, now there's another side of me that's boiling from within. Now I have something else to say or to dance or, to wear, to express. And
mm,
I think it all comes down to trusting our own expression. Like so much is blocked off in our head from self-doubt. And that
yeah,
comes to sexuality also, and comes to thinking that you know what other people want or you try to control. Like many people are not having good sexual experiences because they're trying to control things.
yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know. I'm just kind of
Oh, you're
experienced
saying it,
with, yeah.
all so beautifully put. And, I can feel when you speak, it just goes ooh, deep into that place. It's that, that's what I'm finding, all of these people are struggling with. I mean, they are going through this new phase of their life. And there's people love relationships. I think, people love relationships. People want relationships. People, not everybody, but generally we like relationships. We want to stay with somebody, want to be with someone, we want to be in love, we want to be connected. And we're spending long periods of time together, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years together sometimes. And a lot of these people that I talk to are, they love their partner. They feel that deep love and connection, and they have a life built with each other. But there's this longing, and I speak a lot to men right now. I'm sort of directing to
Good.
men because it seems, yeah, it seems that that's the calling right now.
We love our brothers.
Yes, we do. And they are just deeply longing something else, deeply longing to reveal like this deeper desire within them, but so afraid with this woman they may have been with for 30 years, for 20,
What
30 years.
what types of desires are they?
Well, the desires are for more intimacy, to a level of just more connection, more intimacy.
Security. Security inside of that
Yeah.
intimacy. Okay.
Yeah,
Mhm.
security inside that intimacy, some, to the point, to exploring their sexuality. They've done the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And
Activity.
yeah, this is a second. Here we go. Something came up on my screen. Okay, get out of here. There we go.
Mhm.
Yeah, the creativity, wanting to be more creative, having maybe desires that have been there for a long time, but just sort of leaving them inside, not thinking that they're going to affect them in any way, but they're bubbling up. They're getting stronger. Desires to even just talk about, oh, how about we try a threesome, honey? Why don't we try this tantric class over here? Why don't we, I have this kink I'd like to explore, but just repressing it and fearful of it because
Mhm.
the fear that their partner is going to leave them, judge them, um, you know, be scared of what they have to offer. And yeah, so there's this whole melange that's taking place that I'm working with people to try to open them up. And I really, really believe what you're saying. Like, it's first connecting with yourself and getting good with it, getting confident that your desire is worthy.
Yes, that your desire is worthy and that you yourself are worthy enough to be trusted to enter new doors that are unknown for many partners. Like it's like Pandora's box vibration. You don't really know what
Yeah.
the other will say. And so there's a part of, this detachment from, yeah, I'm married for also 10 years. And there is something, no matter how advanced we are, there is attachment styles that people have
Yeah.
with each other. So I think that when we bring a surprise to our partner, that also that we know they may be more tight-laced or, straight arrow, that we have to represent that we're not going to just pull tricks on them. We're not just going to like throw them to the wolves kind
Yeah.
of station, that, and that's also the presence that we create inside of our own bodies that could hold space for fantasies, because not all emotional bodies can do the threesome and keep going in a healthy way, can, express something very private and it not be used against them.
Hmm.
So it's another like training. If you want to go to another level, you have to have the tools for that next level.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely. Yeah,
I,
yeah. I mean, it is the scariest part is
hmm Well, it's
revealing
shame
any.
ultimately.
Yeah, ultimately, yeah, exactly, exactly. Um, but I think that there's also this, what I hear is also this feel that their partners, the women, are, and I know this, just there's just so many taboos around a woman that's a little bit older and sexuality, and a
Oh,
woman that's a mother and sexuality, and a woman
yeah.
that's a wife and sexuality.
hmm
And I want to just bring this up and talk about this too, about the women, because it's
hmm
how do you support your wife, your woman, your partner with these all these beliefs that she's been brought up with and that exist in society.
Okay, great. Well, oftentimes it's not exactly the man's role to bring the woman to that place. It is normally a role from other women because of this witch wound that we carry, that it was other women that hurt us the most by shaming us. It
Mm,
was the sister, it was the neighbor, it was the daughter to the mother to the daughter. It was the grandmother, you know,
yeah, yeah.
these women that held the closest, most dear place in your soul. The
Mm,
men used it against us.
right.
So, of course, the man in my experience needs to be devotional, needs to worship the woman.
Hmm.
And when a man learns to fall at the feet of his lover, then many magic doors open. It
Hmm.
doesn't take too much work, just a
Let's
devotion.
go into that deeper, because this is the juicy stuff.
We
They
get
want to
juicy.
know, what do
What,
I do?
what do I
What do I
do?
do?
I mean, every woman is different.
Yes, yes. Okay, yes.
So, first of all,
But there's
listen
a
to
need for
her.
experimenting,
Yeah,
right?
yes. We have to listen to each other in general. Couples need to listen.
Hmm.
Number one, communication. So, when a woman mentions or alludes to, oh, I would love if you, I don't know, kiss my feet. I would love if you just tickle me for 10 minutes. Whatever it is, play with my hair. Oh, I love when you play with my hair. Oh, let's make a note because women need to be loved the way that we need to be loved, not always the way man thinks we need to be loved. I mean, maybe this
Yeah.
is basic for your clients, but it's worth
Mhm.
saying,
Yes.
you
No,
know,
no, it's important. It's very important. And I
important.
think, yeah, yeah. It's for you forget. I think you forget these things when you've been in a long-term relationship, you've had kids and home, and maybe there's been not much focus on sexuality, sensuality
Oh,
as a couple.
because the woman is like meant to just do everything and to please everyone. And
Yeah.
that is not our birthright. Is to make everybody happy and comfortable all the time.
Yeah.
And, it's like, let's be clear. Are we sacred bridges or are we people pleasers?
Mm,
There's a lot of balance between that. There's service with a heart open, and there's, being taken advantage of as the role of the mother and the caretaker.
hmm.
You know, there are these sort of things that happen to man and woman and children and the elderly.
Yeah.
But for women, like women have been sucked of their juice when they arrive, often after raising children and being married for so
Oh
many
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
So the first thing that we do is get ourselves juicy in order to, whether that is, self-care Sundays, masturbation, self-love, whether that's, going really on a retreat where you can take time just to focus on you and your own cocooning, you know.
Yeah.
Um, there's
Yeah.
different and a mix of these practices that can be, but women are feeding so much into the sexuality of men that women don't
Yes.
even know what they like.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm a little bit skeptical, I must say, of the a lot of tantric teachings that are going around the world because there's a lot of energy manipulation that happens.
Mm.
And the tantrika for, I mean, since I was a child, really, I believe that the self practice is the essential core because if you start getting into big sexual, like, oh, let's all get naked and play with each other experiences, there are energies that are feeding into actually the shame and actually
Mm.
resistance, actually uh, dark forces that manipulate energy for the wrong purposes.
Mm-hmm.
I really
Mm-hmm.
believe that there are practices and people that can share information that can help you evolve, but don't look to jump outside into big sexual experiences at first. I really believe that it's like slow and steady because this is the creative force of the universe, sexuality. For me, we can speak about like fantasies, but most fantasies are better left fantasies until we
Mm-hmm.
can really integrate them into our lives. And for the juiciness of the woman, I mean, we can't help but be juicy. We're like, if we just become, and I say just oversimplifying, I know, receptivity is the
Mm-hmm.
key to woman's juiciness. We need to be worshiping ourselves first before anyone else can
Mm-hmm.
properly. And that's an inside job, of course, but whatever it is that, for me, it can be after a bath, which I like my salt baths because I'm automatically able to just ionically recharge and
Mm-hmm.
release anything that doesn't serve just from my own energy body. And it's very intricate. Like I work a lot with human design and different dream work that guides us,
Mm-hmm.
but just very simple listening to nature, oiling yourself, taking time to touch every part of your own body,
Mm-hmm.
letting those flashes that, oh, when this one did that, or oh, I saw this one day, this flower reminded me of this orgasm that I wish I could have, like it must to be in a liminal energy. It must to be somewhere where it's not like sexuality, good sex is not, you can't think.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. Beautiful. Um, well, I could see, this is a whole element that I used to talk about. I'm probably going to come back to that again, is this whole concept of orgasmic living and
Yeah.
being and really everything as a feminine becomes orgasmic living. The nature, what you eat in the day, how you move your body, all of this is the possibility for the feminine and the sensations to bubble up through the body, right? And
Mhm.
that definitely is just so
Let's all move
essential.
our body. Let's
Exactly,
all just
exactly.
relax.
And just what you say, I mean, yes, it's so important for the woman who's come through motherhood, been a wife, been the nurturer for so long, to then take the time. And I think she should be doing that the entire time. And I work with people like that too. You need to take your time, your self-care time, your sensual erotic time, your self-pleasure time. But many women do not and don't even know
No.
that they are allowed to, or that it's important to replenish their bodies. But for sure, in the space that I'm talking about with these couples, that is absolutely essential for the woman to then go into that place so that she can rethink about who she is now, as and reconnect to that woman. Maybe not even reconnect, build again, grow this new being that she can become in the next phase of her life. And I mean, and then we have the men, of course, who also need to do that. They
Oh,
are wondering,
yeah.
why are we having sex? How can we have sex? I want to go have a threesome. I want to go do this. Well, they're not even in connection with their own bodies. They haven't
Exactly.
been they haven't had any focus on that at all. And men are not even taught. I mean, there's more and more teachings available to men to connect to their deeper inner selves, their masculine energy, their feminine energy as well, their eroticism, their sensuality. Like, men and sensuality, like, that was just, huh? No, no, but yes, if you're wanting to take your relationship, your life into another level, again, going back to what you're saying, it's starting within yourself. So we have these men, what are, and I say too, like, your example of what you're going to do is going to affect your partner, your wife. If you feel afraid to talk to her, start doing some of your own work. And she'll watch, she'll be looking, she'll be wondering, she'll be curious and intrigued, and invite her to join, you know. So what do you say
Yeah.
for men? What can the men then start to do to start to inhabit their own bodies?
Sometimes the men, they don't want to hear my answer to this.
That's okay. They must hear your answer.
But you tuned in. Um, Cum retention.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Number
That's the real
one.
tantra. Yeah, that's the real tantra. It's not about feeling up all kinds of cool chicks from around the world. It's really about preserving your own seed. Gling, 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 gling,
Yeah.
gling. And in that preservation, you're able to, first of all, feel your body in a way that you've never felt before. And then imagine that when you release your seed, you release your energy. Often men are like, done, right?
Yeah.
When you're able to capture that light, that life-giving force, there's the receptivity that the man himself can experience, where he moves deeper into his divine feminine, which came from the energy of his divine masculine within. So
Mm.
he's filled himself. And when a man can do that, then he can help the woman to reach her ultimate letting go.
Yeah.
And why the man has been taught from the high levels of, the yellow emperors in China, really focusing back to, the wandering swamis of Comet, actually, that, later moved into India and, and created the tantric schools.
Mm-hmm.
They were all about how to connect with the divine. So
Mm-hmm.
everything outside of that is just play. So when you connect, the man is able to connect with the divine within himself. That's when he can really connect and open with the divine of a woman.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Okay, so let's give him some information on what kind of steps he can start to take to do
Yeah.
that. Because that's the question I
Well,
get, and I've talked about
yeah,
ejaculation control many times, but I
yeah,
think it's this thing that
yeah,
we need different perspectives, more information,
sure.
deeper understanding, because the effect that he will have once he
Hmm.
has gained this connection to the divine, the control of his own body, the deeper understanding of who he is,
Hmm.
it will be much
How?
easier to then connect to her, to bring her in, to hold that space for what she requires, right?
Are you working with carezza and the sensation of when you are with the woman, when you are with yourself? Many men are masturbating a lot, and many men are
Mm-hmm.
watching a lot of porn.
Yeah.
So, first of all, you must stop
Yeah.
the insanity of polluting of your brain and your energy body. And
Yeah.
this is directly feeding vampire energy. It's stealing the energy of the man. So when the man wakes up on this material plane and just says, okay, stop, that's already huge.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you are with a woman, your woman, there's not this rush to perform. There's a lot of foreplay. There's a lot of whispering and eye gazing and tongue touching and nipples touching and rolling back to back and feeling into your partner, not looking for, the pinball effect. It's just being together. This opens incredibly exquisite echelons of potential for intimacy, authenticity. No one ever touched me there like that. These sort of prompts that, oh, what if you just held me in this position? You know how many women just want to be held and not the guy trying, you
Yeah.
know? This
Yeah.
is this is
No
basic.
expectation of no
No
expectations.
expectation.
Just connection, just feeling, just going deeper with each other. Yeah.
Exactly. I like also I've worked for different spas throughout the years creating new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the experiences is, you know, we tickle ourselves in order to self-soothe.
Mm.
Tickling one another for extended times, it releases and disarms the whole lymphatic system, the
Mm.
whole, our sensory. We literally become more soft and creative when someone spends time just soothing us.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's not this big secret that it's all in these gentle ways, looking in each other's eyes for many hours. This is
Yeah.
tantra. I've orgasmed like this, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Touching
Oh yeah.
tongue. I had my hair standing on top of my head, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
it's this level
Orgasm
of
is
it.
everywhere, every part of the feminine body. Yeah. Every
And
part.
the masculine
And
body
masculine.
and the masculine body. And this masculine body, when you work with this slow foreplay for a long time, you start feeling things that you've never felt before. You start
Mm,
to open your eyes on the inside.
mm,
And I can say many things, but until you have that established in the body, it's all just concept. And I don't like concepts.
yeah.
Let's speak in the we're here in God's image, in the image of the goddess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are creating at every moment. So if people want to take back their power, and that's what sexuality really represents, is affirming, self-realization. When you have
Mm-hmm.
sex, it's not about stress relief.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
many people are like, come on, babe, let's do this, let's do that, let's get a little like extra and then I could, fall asleep,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of like, take responsibility for your energy body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if your wife, I'm talking to you guys, where's the camera? You represent the masculine that is holding that space, then the woman will always dance around that center.
Mm-hmm.
But first, you need to hold that space secure. And that's not just a hard lingam, that's a clear channel of your inner being.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Gotta remember that. Exactly. Yeah,
Powerful.
that's,
So powerful. Yeah. It's that clear channel. And there's just so much noise out there and speed and just need to get things moving faster and done and go and just
yeah.
even by the way you talk, I feel, myself just dropping deeper into my own embodiment, my own being, my own connection to
Mhm.
my inner soul, my inner self, because you've got this, well, look where you're living, this beautiful connection to the to nature, to, that's just so deeply and profoundly resonant in you. And that's the place.
It-
That's the other dimension that you need to find.
yeah.
I say it's kind of like going into, do you know molasses?
Hmm.
When you pour molasses, it's just like, come on already. It's like that
Well,
pouring of molasses, and that's
it's-
really difficult for people to let
yeah.
themselves go there.
Well, I wanted to say when you started speaking to enjoy your point that the people are so much outside and the people don't know how to go inside. It's too much
Yeah,
looking out. I want that.
yeah, yeah.
But they're not making ourselves that, like
Hmm.
this temple of dance here in Alto Paraíso could only come after I myself created my body into a temple of dance.
Mm,
You know? So I think that like here, for those of you that want to see, you see
yeah,
what we have on the inside is what comes through on the outside.
beautiful.
We can't fake it. Yeah. Don't trust the eyes as much as that depth, like you said, the molasses. Trust the molasses.
Trust the molasses. Exactly. It's Christmas. So, it's Christmas on the
Oh,
Western, well, everywhere actually. Molasses. I've just made my
everywhere.
first bunch of gingerbread cookies and pouring these molasses. I'm like, oh, yes.
Ooh.
The molasses.
Nice one. Nice
Transformational
one.
food. Um,
Yeah, I
oh,
always bring molasses back to Brazil from the north. It's
oh
like
yeah, yeah.
my special. Yeah.
Yeah, they only have, I've only been able to find one type here, and it does come in this beautiful clay pot.
Mm,
So I love the presentation of it. It's just absolutely gorgeous. And the flavor is different, of course. And
mm,
there's only one type I could find in Rio. Maybe in other parts of Brazil there's other
yeah.
types, but um I don't even know what molasses is made out of actually. I should,
Well, it's a tree. It's the maple
what
tree.
kind of a tree is it? It's the maple
Yeah.
tree, is it? Okay. Okay, well there we go. That's why. Not here.
That's why I bring it from north
That's
because
why I came from north.
it's a more forest taste
Yeah,
than we have
yeah.
here, like big trees,
Yeah,
big bones.
well, there we go. Directly connected to nature, very deeply connected to the maple. Oh my God, this is so beautiful.
Yeah. And you can't get to those, vibrating leaves at the top of the tree until you have those roots dug
Yeah,
in
yeah,
very deep.
yeah,
I
exactly.
think that's the point, really. You have to go for it.
Yeah. So it's this work is internal work first. This is getting
Mhm.
intimate with yourself at a deeper level and um ejaculation
Yeah,
control. Take out the
yes.
porn, get rid of porn right away. Um Ejaculation control. Let's just talk a little bit about that and maybe some, I've talked about this a lot, but I'd like to hear your perspective on tips, processes for people.
Do you work with rhythm?
No. What is
So
what
once
is rhythm
you
connected
like
to? Breath and
rhythmically, so what helps men often, because we're simple creatures.
yes, we actually
We
are.
just we are. I mean, um, ooh, and the wind just started blowing up.
Oh.
We are very simple creatures. Thank you.
There
Okay.
we go.
So rhythm helps to create another focus than I want to come or I don't want to come,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which
Okay.
is typical fare. So you can start counting like if you are in a penetration moment, but you're trying not to be super, super duro.
Doodle.
Try not to be hard. But you're inside, yes? So you can take rhythm to support you to stay a little bit distant. Spirituality is very much about the witness.
Mm-hmm.
So rhythmic work helps you to become the witness and not the player.
Mm-hmm.
So while you're loving, you can say 5 counts, right? One, inside, out. Two, three, four, five, and pause and have 3 deep breaths. So in those deep breaths, which, it takes time. This is not something that you try for 1 week and it works. It's like at
Right,
least 1 year
exactly.
for most people.
Patience,
Yeah.
patience, perseverance, patience, exactly.
Yeah. Practice every day and all is coming or not.
And what a practice. What a practice, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And so this practice of rhythm helps you to say, okay, this is my action and this is my pause.
Mm-hmm.
So that you're already start to disconnect this hedonic brain from the body, which the hedonic brain, I don't know if you're talking about this, it's the place in the brain where we experience pleasure. So our brains have been trained very well.
Mm-hmm.
Even the word hedonic,
Hedonistic, yes.
yes, the people they get afraid, like right away,
Yeah.
shame,
It can't be
taboo,
that. Like, I'm gonna lose control.
occult.
Yeah.
Oh, this is our brain we're talking about, just the place in the brain where it
Mm-hmm.
processes pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Inside of this, we start to have a little bit of space. We create a container for our own sexuality.
Yeah.
How many people are overrun with sexual thoughts throughout the day that literally cannot focus because they're either feeling lonely or they're trying to be oversexed?
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, getting a hold of that reality in our brain can help us to take a little, break from the overwhelming force of sexuality in our lives.
Yeah.
Like we are, oh,
Oh, back on, babe. So I have really enjoyed this conversation with Amber. It looks like she's not back. I might just wait a few more minutes. Love her energy. She's already in that place of just slowing down. And here she comes back. I'm so excited. See if we can get her back in.
so
Okay, we
it
got you
was,
back.
yeah. All of a sudden, the wind started to blow, and a few minutes later, everything crashed. But it hasn't rained. It's just like energy in the air, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're expecting some more storms, but it's still
Yeah.
sunny.
Yeah. 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 Here it's stormy. I I saw up, I can see from, I live up in Vidigal, and
Sí,
I can see Leblon and Ipanema Beach, and there is a boat up on shore. So
wow.
I don't know. I was thinking I want to go down and see it, but it's pretty rainy and stormy out. But yeah,
Well, I'm sure they won't move it anytime soon. You'll
no.
have
And
time.
the waves are coming in, they're crashing in. It's all, I mean, anyway, it's dramatic, very dramatic. So, so we ended, wait, before you got cut off, you started talking about the rhythm method
Yes.
for men. And yeah, let's just continue on that flow, because I think
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
Yeah. It's funny because when you just said the rhythm flow, I also think about what I do as a doula with women that are receiving also, they say contractions, we say waves like this. So it's similar that it's nice to use the same words for man and woman,
Mm-hmm.
that you're also becoming that witness, right? So you're not suffering inside of it. You're not being pushed and pulled inside the sexual energy, birthing energy. We are able to, like, if you go to the dentist, for example, and you know it's gonna hurt, but you can go to a place in the center of the pain.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it makes sense also in this sexual tactics for energy cultivation that you're going to the center of the pleasure. So you're not getting affected by all of that movement and energy that's, blasting off and expansion and contraction. You're just there right in the center, holding that space while everything is going on around you. So quickly, the rhythmic seed cultivation, you can start at 5 and have a deep pause and have those few deep breaths. It'll take time. Normally, men will want to explode if you go more than 5 too quickly. But if you go until 9, if you can make it until 9, then there's an opportunity, just like 9 is this transformative number that however you devise it, it only always becomes itself. That's when you start to feed your own organism and you start to enter that divine realm
Mhm,
that there's an alignment there that we're not the first to tap into it. I mean, it's
mhm,
well known.
mhm.
Um, if
When
you
you're
can
saying
go
when you're
9,
saying 5 and 9, you mean
so that's
times,
what it
okay.
is. So
Yeah.
5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding that intensity and breathing with a smile on your face, looking in each other's eyes, where there are extra special supernatural practice the woman can do also in this time. That's why often it's good to practice alone at first, because
Hmm.
it becomes much more challenging with a partner.
Yeah.
So imagine from 5, if you can get into a good rhythm like that, and when you count 5 and you hold for those breaths, maintaining that expounding energy body, but hold the center. And this is, it's a practice for our brain as much as for our body.
Hmm. Hmm. So we're looking at taking more time, getting more present, slowing down, holding. Once you're penetrating, you're holding so that you're not ejaculating immediately. You are holding within her, feeling each other, connecting at a deeper level, calming yourself down so that you can last longer, so that she can have more time to feel your body, feel the penetration, open her body. I mean, all of this it's just the slowing down of everything and spending, getting into that moment that you can connect, you can actually start connecting, because so many women complain about the pain, complain about the speed, complain about not now after years and years of being together, they just say no more. I don't want it anymore. I'm not into having sex. And then the blame is kind of put on them, like, oh, she doesn't want sex. Something's wrong with her. So it's a dance.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
dance.
man's world.
It's a man's world. It's a man's world. But hey, hey,
Slowly,
right?
slowly things are shifting, but it's part of that witch wound is that the women prefer to just turn off, then
Yeah.
also take their job, their inner work to get to know also their part in
Yes.
this dance.
Yeah.
And when you speak about partnership, this is really necessary.
Yeah. I do want, as I'm talking to men at the moment. I've spoken to women for a long time and now I'm talking to men, but I keep saying it's a partnership, it's a dance for the two of you, and you want to support each other and help each other. But it's also a lot of, working on yourself, knowing that you have to find that space within yourself to feel your own pleasure, to feel your own connection, and then come together. So yeah, yeah. But and I love that you put this out there too, because men are generally, I find there's a lot of fear in actually exploring their own pleasure. It seems to be this connection, it has to be this connection with this woman, and it has to be giving her the orgasm and giving her pleasure. But women actually want the man to be in his full pleasure. I don't want him to be chasing the orgasm with me. I want him to be in
Yeah, but
such full
that's
pleasure, in such full
yeah.
pleasure, just being with my body, being with the energy that we're creating together, that I can just like feel so free and trusting and let go and then go on this journey with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, I love that.
Yeah. I mean, this pleasure thing also is we've been really well trained about what kind of pleasure to seek. And yeah, I feel with this rhythm method, there's also a pleasure of personal evolution
Hmm.
that goes on. And, you know, as someone also that spent many years celibate, that this, as you say, seeking pleasure, sometimes if you really just cut that out, like I'm not seeking pleasure, I'm seeking to know thyself, like no wiser words have ever been uttered, right? That
Hmm.
this is a pleasure. And all pleasures after that are more tasty.
Yes, yes, beautiful. Yes, I love that. It's so perfect. Um, can we get there? Can we get there? Yes, yes.
Discipline,
Hmm.
discipline,
Well, it's a
grace.
practice. It's all the practices. It's all about experimenting, exploring, trying some new ways, some new methods, some new ways of connecting, some slowing down. I mean, there's so much available for actually just experimenting and seeing, like you said too earlier, that everybody's individual and everybody's going to connect to going on this journey in a different kind of a way. But in order to find that, whether you're a man or you're a woman and coming together as a couple, you have to allow yourself to explore and experiment what's going to work.
That's why I love dance so much because
Mm-hmm.
you can't hide for long. Your
Yeah.
body is going to show you the
Mm-hmm.
way. So,
You do a
yeah.
lot. Do you do a lot of work with men? The men come into your program and how
Yes,
is
I never exclude men. As some circles say, no men. I say, come,
yeah,
we
right.
need you.
Yeah, yeah. And tell us about your space and what you're doing there because it just looks so beautiful. And I think that's a place, I mean, I've seen some testimonials from people that have been to your space and just they just feel so connected with themselves and have had such incredible experiences. So I like to know like how can one go there
Thank
and
you. Um, well, you know, like earlier I had mentioned that this place was really born from my own personal realization.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really what I feel is the big prayer in this place. It's a temple of dance because we don't have temples of dance. We have,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's dance is
Yeah.
actually the highest of the physical movements of expression because we are incorporating masculine and feminine dynamics. We're working with our brain, we're working with our hormones, our genes are involved in
Mm-hmm.
dance. You know, the more that we get into the energy body, the morphic fields, you can see how gestures just we're carrying them. And we need to transform a lot of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, this place, Alto Paraíso in particular, really called me in Brazil.
Mm.
But I'm traveling all over the world, teaching this my method of dancing the divine, which really I've been doing since I'm like in the belly, I think, or before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just through my writings and things, I'm getting more words for these movement perceptions that I do throughout the years and how it's influenced my performance as a performing artist, as a ritual um, ceremonialist. I feel that if we're able to express ourselves in the dance, then we can live a life that's true to
Mhm.
ourselves also, because you recognize that there's no separation at one point. It's just all one.
Mhm.
And remembering the different parts of our bodies, trust, trust that it's not the bridges around us that are important. It's not the things that are around us that are important. It's really not following our fear and opening ourselves to the now. So that's what people get a lot here. And through all different
Wow.
ways,
That's all. That's
just a little sprinkle of that and go back to your life and
and
let's
off
see
you
what happens.
go.
I mean,
Exactly.
and that's the part that I think says something is when people go back and they actually implement the changes that their body danced.
Hmm.
And that's what inspires me. I don't want to do foo-foo stuff. I'm from Brooklyn, we're kind of we want to see, New Yorkers, we want to see results with the work, and
Yeah.
that's important.
Mm.
So men and women, I meet them all over the world. A lot more men in the past, I'd say 5 years for sure, but like an acceleration in the past three that
Wow.
you can
Okay.
see it's like half and half.
Hmm.
Teaching in
Hmm.
Spain this year, it was half and half, and that never happened.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
amazing. That's amazing.
yeah. And
Well, I mean,
the
I'm
good thing,
feeling that too. I'm feeling that too.
yeah,
There's just a lot of men connecting in,
yeah.
wanting more information, trying to figure things out, wanting to go deeper. How do I do this? What do I do? What's been going on?
Yeah, accessing more knowledge. I mean, a lot of people are doing it to be like more productive or more in a tune with their soul's purpose. There's all kinds of reasons. And it all comes back to freedom
Yeah.
and releasing shame for man and woman. So the men, I think they appreciate my humor more, I think, sometimes than the woman. So for the men, I make it accessible for
Yeah.
them
Hmm.
because we're all in the same boat. We all want to evolve together
Hmm.
and not take ourselves too seriously.
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know and I think that with this spiritual work, with dance, we have to be willing. Like, dancers are not afraid to roll on the floor and look silly and make sounds and touch parts of ourselves that have do not enter signs for a few
Hmm.
generations. we
Hmm.
we're really flexible and courageous,
Hmm.
so it moves us out of the comfort zone.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen a huge change. I mean, you are settled in Brazil, and I'd like to just before we wrap up, just to know a little bit about what you feel about the difference about being in the States and then in Brazil. But
Mhm.
what I've seen being in Rio for the last 5 years, let's say, um, is this, and maybe it's been since after COVID, just as you said, more men are involved, but also just this ecstatic dance coming in much stronger than I barely heard about it before. And now this movement being available, these courses, these classes being available, because the Brazilian dance tends to be and they learn from very, very young age. There's certain steps that you learn, and there's certain music that goes with those steps, and there's a freedom, of course, because once you've done it since you've been a tiny little child, it just becomes natural part of your body. But yeah, I've seen that when it comes to more of a freestyle movement and music that takes you on sort of a journey, it's like, oh, now how do I do this? Like, I've been trained since a
Yeah.
toddler to move this way, and now there's what are these people doing? And I see it coming in now. But what have
Well,
you experienced?
There's a lot of nuances inside of what you're talking about. Brazilian culture has a lot of samba. Everybody pretty much learns samba when they're a
Mm-hmm.
child. Um, More in the poorer areas, you find it more as well with playing music,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's the roots of the place,
Exactly.
the African diaspora, um, more than the native indigenous. I think the indigenous has been so uh, shrunken that their effect wasn't as taking hold of Brazil. But what
Mm-hmm.
I find is like when I came to Brazil first time 15, 17 years ago, I was asking everyone, teach me samba. I
Mm-hmm.
never danced samba before. It was my first time in Brazil. Okay. Nobody could teach me. Like all the people that were around our kind of wellness kind of crowd was not available to teach.
Mm.
What I saw is that samba in particular is this quality of like a lot of, struggle and
Mm.
hardship.
Mm-hmm.
And so samba, I started to see it more in ceremonial circles, more where, whew, have to
Mm-hmm.
just change the energy, and they would use the samba for a purpose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The samba, like you're in Rio, and I'm sure that there's like, some
Everywhere.
music going on here and there and everywhere.
Yeah.
And so it's like a cultural identity.
Yeah.
But when I would work with Brazilians, they don't feel often very connected to their body, although they look like they are,
Yeah. Yeah.
because they know the technique, the movement,
Mm-hmm.
especially this like my generation and the generation after, none of them really dance samba anymore.
Mm.
And, in the big country of Brazil, I find it very rare. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
I got my residency because I knew how to dance samba, and the federal police tested me in the moment because
Did
she
you
was having
really?
enough of me that day. And the lady was her big badge and like this. And I was like, look, you need to do it for me today. She's like, what are you talking about? Long story short, we wound up bumping into each other when I was buying samba shoes, and she said, yeah, you can dance samba. And I did, and she gave me my paper the next day because it's so rare, really.
Wow.
And it's a lot of the samba people that go out to teach in Europe, and they
Right,
make a living
right. Okay.
outside of Brazil, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So, but when I'm working with, and maybe this is also answering your question better, when I'm working with um, Brazilians compared to Europeans like that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Brazilian woman, and they would say to me actually, like, yeah, you think Brazilian woman so sexy like this. We know how to dress, we know how to stand, we know how to shake our booties, but I feel more like a man than a woman.
Right.
They many have said that.
Right. Yes, yes. I found that too.
And,
Yeah.
the machoism is entering all of our psyches in
Yeah.
the world,
Yeah.
and especially here in many ways. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the also many European women feel that masculinity, which also hurts men because then men don't get to be masculine, and then it's a
Yeah.
this cycle.
Yeah.
But I feel like they are more aware of this is machoism, you know?
European women, you
Yeah,
feel
the
are more, yeah.
European is like more aware of it and says, okay, there's a something there
Mm-hmm.
in the consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I
Mm-hmm.
feel more and more now with men and women coming together more in these ceremonies, in these circles, sharing honestly.
Mm-hmm.
that I'm hearing how the men just want the women to be soft and feminine, but the women need the men to be more holding that center point.
Yeah, in order
So
to,
if they don't
yeah,
hold that center point, the woman will go there and she will hold it.
yeah, somebody has to, exactly.
So if, and also dance has been turned into a sexual weapon
Mm-hmm.
where women also know how to use the dance to get what they want, the
Mm-hmm.
seduction. But are they really feeling it?
Mm.
Are they feeling when they lick their lips, is it really something from deep inside?
Right. Is it a show or is it actually,
Is it a
yeah,
show? Because it's just like faking an orgasm.
yeah.
Everyone says I don't do it. No one, but they do it. People do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly, exactly. No, no, yes.
Not me.
Well, it's getting, yeah, and just like you were saying in the beginning about the loss of authenticity, and getting back to that point in our being where we can be truly honest. We can be true honest to ourselves, first of all, and finding that space within us that is that we can feel real. And then this is a big conversation that I've been having with my YouTubers over the last month, is being able to speak your truth. But
Mm,
before doing that, being able to connect to your to accept what's going on,
good
to
one.
feel that it's okay. It's okay. This is this, and I do a lot of giving permission, the permission of it's okay what you're feeling, how you want to express yourself. And we need this authentic information to come through
Yeah.
so that we can have authentic conversations. We can have real conversations. We can have real connections,
Please.
you know?
Please. Yeah, it makes me think of sometimes just in the authenticity realm. Oh, but a person like me wouldn't do that. Or a person like me that, has this position or has this lifestyle or has the wouldn't look like that. Or somehow we separate it. No, actually, I do. That is what I do, and that is how I look, and that is
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
going on at the
There's
moment.
yeah, exactly. And there's been for such a long time sort of the prescribed way you have to be or look or act as you get to a certain age or whatever age you happen to be. And no, we want to embrace who we are, like really at a deeper level, and these beautiful this beautiful stuff that starts to come out and that gets revealed, and that then once you can connect to yourself, then you can connect to your partner, then you can start feeling the energetics between the two of you, feeling like this deeper love, this journey towards the deeper love between you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because if you don't go deep into that well, you're just gonna be splashing around in puddles for the rest of your life.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly, exactly. That's
Searching and
that's why that's why
searching.
that's why here we're bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. It's not
Oh,
exciting. It's not, it's like,
I was never bored.
bored, bored. What?
I'm never bored.
There's so much you can do. There's so many options, so many directions, so much to explore, like just so
Ah,
much. So thank
exactly.
you, Amber. This has just been fabulous conversation. So much information for all of you out there to listen and absorb and go out and explore it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for this beautiful invitation. You're such a lovely woman. I look forward
Yeah.
to crossing paths again. Let me know if you
Yes,
come
maybe
visit.
we will. I'm
Yeah.
intrigued now. I'm very intrigued of that whole area. So yes, sounds like an idea. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I hope to talk soon.
Thank you,
Mm,
darling. Boom.
much love making. Bye bye. Thank you all.